Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good greetings. I have reacted to one video or two videos actually about a Korean guy that reverted into Islam, and to balance things off in terms of what I reacted to, here is a video of a 46-year-old Pakistani ex-Muslim tells his story. So I'm assuming there will be a 46 years old Pakistani who used to be Muslim and converted out of Islam, and he will tell why. I'm assuming that's the content of this video, and without further ado, let's go and listen to what he has to say.
You're about to hear the story of a man who was Muslim his entire life. But his curiosity and interest in the truth sparked a journey away from Islam. At the age of 46, he left Islam. This is a clip from a previous interview I did with Super Sufi, not his real name, an anti-theist living in Pakistan. How when he read Dan Gibson's research, the Sacred City documentary and the Quranic geography book, it changed his life. No matter which side of the debate you are on, whether you think Gibson is right or wrong about Muhammad being from Petra, you have to admit that the Saudi government definitely is not interested in opening up this can of worms. They don't stand to gain anything from this research. It's in their best interest to keep the status quo. It opened up his eyes to start looking into other things he was taught about Islam that are not necessarily true. He went from being a believer praying 5 times a day to eventually now leaving Islam.
Because so if I understand it correctly, it's not this guy who is the 46-year-old Pakistani ex-Muslim. It is the other guy that is not to be named or faced here, Super Sufi here. I think that is the guy, if I understand it correctly. So he will share whatever leads him to leave Islam, I believe. So let's go on.
Because from childhood we thought that all the mosques in the world, they are facing Qibla, and this have really shocked me when I read when I have seen this Dan's work, and then of course he's challenging, and you can check it yourself, and all this early 100-year mosques, they are all pointing at Petra, which is such a, and Petra is so perfectly matching with all this old, whatever which is mentioned in Hadith, which is nothing, is because the temples of Tushara and Lat and Manat and all these, they're all there.
Okay, to be honest, I'm not sure, or I'm not familiar with the term Petra, what it is referring to. I'm not sure, but if I understand it so far, it is about mosque, not directed, the early mosque is not directed towards Mecca or Kaaba, but towards something called Petra, if I understand it correctly.
And and archaeologically, Mecca has nothing. It's if when they were doing so much of digging and all that, if it was an ancient city as Muslims claim.
Do Muslim claim as such? That's news to me. I didn't know Muslim or Islam ever claimed that Mecca is an ancient city, because what we know for sure is when Abraham was, the episode when, I think this is commonly known by Muslim, that the story about Abraham lived behind Ismail and the mother, right, and in a place where there's nothing there, which is now actually that place where the Zamzam comes out. Basically that's Mecca, right? So it doesn't have any history prior to that, in a sense. So it's not an ancient city. We do not, at least I'm growing up, I only know that story, but I do not know what happened. Is it become a big city or etc.? It's not an important point. It's just that that story sparks to that becomes the place where Kaaba is now, right? Mecca is now, right? So I'm not sure what he's claiming about Muslim claim that Mecca is an ancient city or something, because we know, if you ask any Muslim, we do Masjid al-Aqsa. We know the history goes way beyond that, right? But for Mecca itself, I'm not sure if we claim any of this such.
There will be, there will be so much of, you can find if you dig any old city like Syria, any city in Syria or in Jordan, all these ancient, or maybe Israel, for example, or Palestinian areas. They're all ancient areas. So if you dig them, and there was a lot of digging going on because they have constructed the whole Mecca new, and they didn't find anything. No traces of any old city, old buildings, old anything. Nothing is there.
But
So
they
it means that
also they don't want to allow people to research that, right? The Saudi government, right?
yeah, they have a lot of restrictions, but I think I will again mention Dan, that he was there and he spoke to the archaeologists, and they told him, no, we didn't find anything. The Arab, because they were scared also, but they told him that he should not mention their names. But the archaeologists from Saudi Arabia, they said we didn't find anything when we digged. And like if you go to any ancient city, I live in a ancient city which is like 5,000-6,000 years old, and if whenever there is a construction, they dig something, there is something, they find a some house or a wall digged under the underground, or after some digging, they found some things, they found coins, they find things, but in Mecca there is nothing.
Yeah,
you cannot find.
So far I'm not sure what this is all about yet, because there's nothing said so far 3 minutes in the 8 minutes clip that disprove anything, because Islam never claimed, or the faith of Islam is not hinged on Mecca being a historic city or something. So I'm not sure what the background of this discussion, but we'll continue on.
Just sharing the Quranic geography book. There's actually, this book is quite a big book. Like you said, there's a documentary as well.
Yeah.
But it has all of the research, it has pictures. If anyone's interested in going into more detail, exactly what brother here is saying about the direction of the Qibla, and Muslims do have some sort of explanations for this. They say, well, the Qibla wasn't that, the math wasn't
that accurate.
Or something. They came up with some excuses why it's facing the wrong direction. But this is a great book, and I actually read this book as well, and there's also the Sacred City documentary if someone doesn't want to go to the whole book. But I just wanted to reference that. So this was actually for you a game changer, was it?
Yeah, big game changer, because I thought it was, I thought that if this is, it is like, when a 5 years old or 6 year old Christian kid is told that Santa is not real, and they get really upset. So it was my Santa not real. I was really shocked. I thought, if this is not true, which is like the physical reality, and how much virtual we believe. Like, for example, if Mecca is not the city and where he was born, and this is not the starting of Islam from here, if it's Petra and all this Qiblas are wrong, and this is, and then then there was it was very difficult. It was 2 years I did a research. I started having my, I was really tired, and I thought I'm gonna lose my eyesight, because I was spending 20 hours per day listening to speeches, reading about it, doing my research. And, I was really going, because, it was such a big shock. And especially at the time when I was a real solid believer, and I was really strong. And then at that time, if your faith is shaken like this, you really, you're struggling not to find the faults. You are actually struggling to find some way so you can cling back to it. Yeah, because you're so shocked. You don't want it to be a lie. You want it to. You have to find some reason to go back. And then the first thing was all these rituals. I came to know that they're all not true. I found this Zoroastrian things where all this miracles were taken, like flying horse and this and that. And then I found
the bridge, the Shivanat bridge.
The bridge, and and then their timing of prayer, which is exactly like Muslims, 5 times. They do wuzu. They cover their head with the same caps. So I realized that it's all Zoroastrian. And then the second thing, and I wanted it to be true, but more I was digging in, more I was going critical. It was turning out to be a Pandora's box, and everything was coming out like, all these worms, and I was not able to control it. More I try to find truth, I find more lies. Then I came across about hadiths to be 250 years old. They started writing, and they are 9 generations past, in 250 years. And then, most of us will not know our grandfather's name 4 generations back or 5 generations back, 9 generations back, and they are, and the writers are all Persians. That was again a big shock for me. None of the the writers or but okay, the apologists, they say that there is one who was an Arab, and everybody has, like, I think Imam Shafi'i was an Arab, and they took everything from him. But we don't have his real books. We have only copied books or something like that. I think it is Imam Shafi or somebody else, or Tibri or somebody who is an Arab. But most of them, all these Siha Sitta Imams, are all Persians.
Thanks for watching. Check out the full video linked below if you want to hear more. For those of you who would like to support the channel, please check out my support page below. It means a lot to me. Thank you. This is Abdullah Samir, signing out.
I'm struggling to find what exactly is the thing that the core belief of Islam that he find out to be false, because most of the thing that is mentioned, the direction of the, meaning those are arbitrary things, right? And about the Sunan Sittah, etc., right? So I'm not sure whether he is familiar with the development of the science of hadith, etc. So I'm not sure about that. Perhaps there's more in the longer clip, but I'm assuming this short clip is the core essence to show that what leads him out of Islam. But I couldn't find anything strong enough for me to be interested to hear the long thing, because I don't even know. I'm not saying I'm wasting my time watching this, but I couldn't find what exactly is the core, because the previous video that I have watched on people leaving Islam, at least there's something that I can understand. Okay, based on that, it is understandable why someone would leave, right? And of course, if you watch those videos, there's some element. Unfortunately, they come from Shia background, and hence there are certain essence of that belief that is very problematic, and hence we can easily understand why that is repulsive, and yeah, and so on. But in this case, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt what exactly, but I couldn't find any, unfortunately. What was, because it is as if the core, the starting point, is essentially built upon the fact that Mecca is not an ancient city. It's not even a claim, right? Because Islam is not based on Mecca. It's just the Qibla of the direction of the prayer, right? Even the first period of Muhammad SAW is still directed towards Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, right? And then Allah commanded to shift towards Mecca. It's just the direction of the prayer in the to make it easy to understand, right? There's a longer discussion about that, but it's not because that is the ancient city, that is the central of whatever. So I'm not sure what is all about, and the rest about Saudi Arabia government, etc., etc. I do not understand why that is essential. I'm not sure. I'm assuming there are certain things about what kind of teaching of Islam that he is used to, and when that is shattered, the Santa Claus example, right? He mentioned about, what was the Santa for him? Is it the Mecca not being ancient? So that is when I couldn't understand we are not even being taught that Mecca is holding that kind of significance, in the sense of, if it's not, then Islam becomes, yeah. So I do not know, unfortunately. So that's my reaction. Hopefully, because I'm trying to find a video that have solid reason, personal reason, why someone found this compelling reason for them to leave Islam, because so that at least I can discuss what is the issue there. But anyway, so hopefully I can find a better video to react to in this scope. See you next time, inshallah. Have a good week. Yeah, I do not know how to end this. See you next time.